Of February this year, the Municipal Demarcation Board undertook a nationwide process of consulting communities, farm owners and municipalities affected by the technical boundary misalignments. Now, these misalignments happen, for example, where there are split settlements whereby a municipal boundary runs through a settlement such as a suburb or a township, or when a municipal boundary splits a parent farm into different municipalities. Now, due to such technical boundary misalignments, Vuwani in Limpopo has seen violent protests over the past 2 years, and the KwaZulu-Natal and Eastern Cape legislatures recently held public meetings with regards to the technical misalignments of the rural town Matatiele. And joining us this morning is Jane Thupana, the chairperson of the Municipal Demarcation Board. A very good morning to you, Jane. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to Morning Live.
Good morning and good morning to your viewers at home.
Morning indeed. Now talk to us about the Section 26 legal process that the MDB has just launched.
Let me, just before I go into that, let us summary that you gave. The technical process that we have embarked upon is not the municipal demarcation that affects larger portions of municipalities or that lead to amalgamation of municipalities, as an example. It's just an adjustment of the boundaries where they are aligned. So cases you referred to, like Vuwani, was a major redetermination, which is not something that's happening this time around.
Okay.
And the other one you referred to, Matatiele, it has got nothing to do with the board, but it's about provincial boundaries that are a matter of parliament in terms of the constitution.
All right.
Now,
thanks for the clarification.
Technical misalignments, as I've indicated, yes. Yeah, they deal with those misalignments. You've already alluded to the fact that there would be areas where portion of the village or suburb is split, and you find that one suburb or one village fall into two different municipalities. That creates problems for the municipalities in terms of service delivery, but that often creates huge problems when it comes to local government elections, because those people find themselves separated and they don't understand why they can't vote in the same area, why they can't vote for the same councillors, and why they cannot be located in the same ward. They then realize at that point that the community had been split, and it becomes a major problem when it comes to elections.
Now, last year, the board consulted with the COCTA, the Provincial Executive Councils and the National House of Traditional Leaders about the technical boundary misalignments of municipalities. What came out of those consultations?
The consultations were useful in that, unlike what we did in the past, we normally follow the legal processes as prescribed in the Demarcation Act. But this time around, we went outside the legal prescriptions to consult with, as indicated, the Provincial Executive Councils, who know a lot about their areas. The PECs and the municipalities are better positioned to even suggest options that can be followed by the board to fix the misalignments. You may sit where we sit and look at maps and have an understanding that a problem can be solved in a particular manner, but communities that live in those areas, their municipalities, their PECs are better positioned if we were to source for inputs from them before you actually embark on the legal process. A lot of information was obtained from that process, and as we embark in the Section 26, now publishing our intention to consider this municipal boundary alignments, we are enriched by the inputs that came from the ground, and actually what we'll be publishing is a product of the inputs that came from all the stakeholders, from PECs, municipalities themselves, National House of Traditional Leaders, as well as the affected communities and farmers, because most of the cases are split farms and split cadasters, which affect farm owners in those areas.
Do you have an idea of just how some of these misalignments happened, and where do you find the most cases of the technical misalignments? Is it perhaps, do we see them in the rural areas, in the townships, in the suburbs?
It's across the board, and they do happen in villages. For example, if I may give an example, in the rural areas, Problems arise where you find that perhaps the municipalities and the traditional leadership structures are not talking, and as a result you find that settlements or villages sprawl beyond the municipal boundary. Those who allocate sites may not even notice where the boundary runs, and as a result you find that villages grow beyond their boundaries. Now those who find themselves in another municipality, they then create problems when that is realized. We will be working closely with municipalities and all structures to make sure that once these boundaries are fixed, the boundaries are properly pegged such that those responsible for planning and allocation of sites do not end up creating other misalignments. In other areas, like where there are split farms, these problems emanated from the initial demarcation process when we started, when the board was established, when we drew our first boundaries, because these are just lines that where we should make sure that the parent farms, as determined by the Surveyor General, are used as building blocks, and we don't have municipal boundaries that run parallel with the parent farms, but at least run over those parallel farms, the parent farms, I must say.
All right, Jane Thupana, thank you so much for chatting to us this morning. We appreciate your time. All right.